Hello everyone, we are from Group Phoenix and we would like to talk about the oil and gas accidents that happened in Malaysia. The topic that we are going to talk today is the fire and explosion occurred at Pengerang Integrated Complex. Pengerang Integrated Complex, in the short form PIC, is the PETRONAS largest investment in Malaysia, which involved a total of 27 billion USD. It was owned by two large companies, which is PETRONAS and Saudi Aramco. The event was occur on Sunday, 15 March 2020 at around 10:39 p.m. It was caused by a blast occur at the Diesel Hydro Theater Unit (DHT), which uses hydrogen to remove sulfur waste from the raw diesel in Pengerang complex. The hydrogen leak has reached a height of 15 feet. For information, the blast is the second incident at the Pengerang Integrated Complex in less than 1 year. Let's see the detail of injuries. There is a total of 6 injuries in this event. The death case involved Faldi, 25 years old, Alzaru, 28 years old, Nofardli, 32 years old, Sheikh Hadridi Keharun, 26 years old, Hadi Shafiq Jamil, 28 years old, and the injuries was Arnaldo Alexandra, 28 years old. He has a lung injuries and 40% of his total body surface, including the face, was second-degree burn. What is the immediate management response after the incident? The PETRONAS emergency response team have been activated soon after the accident. The fire and rescue department deployed a total of 9 vehicles and 42 personnel from the Sungai Rangit, Savannah Cove, Penawar, Pasir Gudang, and Lakin Fire Department. The operation required water from 8 fire trucks and 2 fire hydrants under the command of Assistant Fire Commander Fauzan Ahmad. The operation was ongoing till the next day, 11:15 a.m. Other than casualties, let us take the look on another perspective of the accident or the outcome. On the environment perspective, the Environment Department (DOE) said that there was no pollution, no smoke was visible from the premises, and no odor was detected from the site that could affect the health of residents and the public. From the business side, the refinery unit processes 300,000 barrels per day of crude oil was shut down after the fire. I will now pass to Desmond.
Okay, thank you, Ang. I'll talk about potential consequences. So, the worst that could have happened is the chain explosion of the butane LPG tanks, and toxic dispersion that could spread to the entire refinery complex or even to the sensitive receptor of Kampong Lepau, which is just 1.5 km west, causing civilian injuries and loss of property. And the worst was prevented by the immediate responses from the Johor State Fire and Rescue Department, which spent the next 13 hours controlling the fire, along with the PETRONAS emergency team, activating their emergency response plan, and with the safety systems on site, which prevented any further damage from happening. So for the recurrence potential, it is quite high because the refinery had already 2 similar cases, one in 2019 and one in 2020, and this might prevent investors from not investing in the refinery complex, and it seems like an unsafe workplace and might get sanctions or banned by the government. And for the severity potential, there could be immediate death of human lives, along with third-degree burns from various fires, lung injuries from inhaling too much toxic gas, injuries from shrapnel from the explosion, and at worst the destruction of the entire refinery complex, and spreading to nearby receptions such as residential areas, schools, and hospitals. And for the population potential that could be affected is up to 3,752 innocent residents within 5 km radius of the project's site, along with up to 4,000 workers and contractors. And next, I'll pass to Beck.
Thank you, Desmond. So there are some recommendations that can be used to create a safer and better working environment is to have prioritized actions. Firstly, an immediate investigation must be taken on operating system. An investigation on site is important to determine the cause of the storage tank implosion. Besides, interviews with relevant people who were present at the time of occurrence, as well as pictures and sketches of observations seen on site must be taken, followed by a comprehensive analysis. Secondly, implementing full precaution when compromising the plant is a must to ensure the safeties of the workers. Implementing full precaution means provide safety equipment in the workplace. For example, all employees must wear necessary safety equipment. The equipment must also be kept clean and in good working order. It is best to avoid wearing loose clothing and jewelry on the job. Furthermore, when working with moving machinery, those with long hair must be kept it pulled back. Besides, emergency evacuation drills should be provided as well. Fire and other evacuation exercises are a great method to assess which machines must be turned off and which may be left running while the facility is evacuated. For the risk assessment, a company should, firstly, do elimination of risk. Companies should do a 3-year evaluation of their risk assessment and risk management strategies. This includes whenever a major modification are made to workplace operations or design, when new equipment, chemicals, or processes are introduced, or whenever an injury or event occurs as a result of hazard exposure. Secondly, provide fire risk assessment. This helps to identify the fire hazards, which include sources of ignition, sources of fuel, and the source of oxygen, the fire triangle, and identify people at risk, such as those in close contact to the premises. Besides, it helps to decide if existing fire measures are adequate and ways to improve it further, and assessment updates and the measures needed for future users should be done more frequently. Not to forget that there are actually some methods to improve workplace health and safety. Firstly, is by training employee well enough. A comprehensive training is required to avoid occupational injuries and to ensure that all of the workers have access and complete the necessary safety training for their job. Last but not least, if to improve workplace health and safety is by doing maintenance and checkups frequently. This means to inspect and replace outdated or worn equipment, especially those that may pose a risk if overlooked, such as catalysts, reagents, and boilers, as well as checking for inappropriate installations and missing protective system. For law, act, and regulation, I would like to pass to Raymond.
Thank you, Beth. So, what are the workplace act and regulations related to the accident? Firstly, OSHA 1994, which refers to Occupational Safety and Health Act. This act provides a legislative framework for the safety, health, and welfare among all Malaysian workforce. For the purpose of OSHA 1994, they protect the workers' safety, health, and welfare from risks posed by occupational activities. OSHA also established a workplace environment that is tailored to the physiological and psychological requirements. For the second act, which is Petroleum Act 1984, the law that relates to safety in transportation and storage and utilization of petroleum and other matters relating thereto. Modes of transportation of petroleum prescribed by the Acts are water, road, railway, and pipelines. This act has been adopted to make rules intended to ensure safety in transportation, storage, and utilization of petroleum. The last act, which is Workmen's Compensation Act 1952. The act provides the compensation payment to the employee and a worker dies in the event of fatal accidents when performing his duty or work. Next, what are the obligations of employers and employees related to the accident? For the employer, he must make sure that the equipment is still functionable and not operating exceed its lifespan so that the workers will not be endangered. He should also provide information, monthly training, and proper instruction, as well as supervision for the employees. For the employees, they must make sure not to remove any safety equipment from machines or equipment like grinders and mixers. They should cooperate with employer in regards to adhering to the acts and also wear the protective equipment or clothing provided by the employer. Last but not least, employees must be aware of any equipment which is not function properly and be able to report it to employer immediately. So with this, that's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.